Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share something that completely transformed my English in a way I never expected. No expensive course, no study plan, no perfect teacher, just one simple daily habit that changed everything. My confidence grew, my fear disappeared, and for the first time English started to flow from my heart, not from my memory. If you've ever felt stuck, shy, or afraid to speak, stay with me till the end. Because what you're about to learn can turn your hesitation into power and your silence into real fluency. Ready to find out what it is? Let's begin. Chapter 1: The First Time I Talked to the Mirror. I remember the first morning like it just happened. The light from the window touched my face, and there I was, standing in front of the mirror, completely unsure of what I was about to do. My heart was beating fast. My mouth felt dry. I looked at my own eyes and thought, this is going to be strange. Talking to myself in English, it felt ridiculous. But somewhere deep inside, I knew this could change everything. You see, most English learners wait for someone to practice with. They wait for the perfect partner, the perfect time, the perfect accent. But the truth is, the person you've been waiting for is already with you. It's you. The mirror is your first friend, your best teacher, your most honest audience. That morning I took a deep breath and said something simple. Hello. My voice sounded different. It felt louder, clearer, but also unfamiliar. I said it again, softer this time. Hello. The mirror didn't laugh. It didn't judge. It just reflected everything I gave it: my fear, my courage, my hope. If you're watching this, I want you to try this right now. Look into the mirror near you, even for a few seconds. Say your name in English. Go on, say, hello, I am is your name. Don't whisper, say it with a smile. Feel how your mouth moves, how your voice sounds. You might feel awkward, but that's how growth begins, in the middle of discomfort. That first day, I didn't speak for long. Maybe 30 seconds. I said, I can speak English. I am learning. I believe in myself. 3 small sentences, but they carried a mountain of meaning. When I finished, I actually smiled. For the first time, I didn't feel like a student. I felt like someone becoming something new. Then something amazing happened. That night when I was alone again, I could still hear my own voice in my head, calm, steady, clear. The sentences I said in the morning started to play again in my mind. It was as if my brain had recorded them. I realized that by talking to the mirror, I wasn't just learning English. I was training my brain to think in English. The next morning, I wanted to quit. I thought, what am I doing? This is silly. But then I remembered how I felt after that first try: free. Not perfect, but free. So I stood in front of the mirror again and decided to talk for 1 minute. My heart was still nervous, but my mouth was ready. I started describing what I saw. I see a tired person. I see someone trying. I see someone who won't give up. That day, something changed. The mirror became a safe space. Every time I spoke, I noticed a little progress: a better word, a clearer sound, a smoother sentence. It wasn't about grammar or rules anymore. It was about courage. If you're learning English at home, Try this simple challenge. Every morning, stand in front of your mirror and say 3 short sentences. It doesn't matter if they are perfect. What matters is that you say them out loud. Feel them. Believe them. Because the secret of speaking English confidently is not found in books. It's found in your reflection. It's found in your voice when you stop being afraid to use it. You may feel strange at first, but one day, you'll thank yourself for starting. I did. Chapter 2: The Day I Spoke for 1 Full Minute. That morning, I stood in front of the mirror with the same nervous feeling I had on the first day. But this time, something was different. My fear was still there, yes, but it wasn't stronger than my desire to speak. I looked at my reflection and thought, today, I'll try 1 full minute. It sounded impossible. 1 whole minute of English. But I told myself, if I can face this mirror, I can face anything. I started with a simple, good morning. Then silence. My brain went blank for a few seconds. You know that moment when your thoughts freeze, your tongue refuses to move, and you start judging yourself before you even begin? That's what happened. But I kept my eyes on my reflection and said softly, "It's okay. Just keep going." And I did. I began talking about the things I could see. My hair is messy. I look sleepy. But I'm proud I'm here. Simple words, but full of courage. Something beautiful happened after 20 seconds. My voice started to sound real. My English wasn't perfect, but it was alive. I was no longer thinking about grammar or vocabulary. I was thinking about meaning, about feeling. I was speaking from my heart, not from my textbook. That's when I realized the mirror was more than glass. It was my teacher, my listener, my friend. Now, I want you to try something. After watching this video, stand in front of your mirror. Set a timer for 1 minute. Don't plan what to say. Just start. Describe what you see, how you feel, what you want to do today. Even if you make mistakes, don't stop. Keep talking. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Worry about being brave. Because fluency doesn't come from perfect words. It comes from the courage to keep speaking, even when you're unsure. When I finished my 1-minute talk that day, I couldn't believe what I had done. I laughed. It felt like winning a small battle. My English wasn't flawless, but it flowed. I understood something powerful. Confidence grows when you use what you already have, not when you wait for more. The mirror had become a stage, and I was finally performing my English, not just practicing it. That night, I listened to English audio while lying in bed. I shadowed short sentences, quietly repeating them in my mind. The next morning, when I spoke again in the mirror, those same rhythms came out of my mouth naturally. My voice had a new energy. I felt it. This is why I tell my students to focus on sound, not fear. If you can listen deeply and speak freely, you can improve faster than you ever imagined. Every time you practice like this, something small inside you changes. You stop translating. You stop doubting. You stop feeling like a student and start feeling like a speaker. 1 minute becomes 2, 2 becomes 5, and one day, you realize you've created a new version of yourself, someone who uses English naturally. If you want to make this change real, try this tonight. Stand in front of your mirror again. Play this video softly in the background. When I speak, repeat after me. Feel the rhythm. Feel the emotion. Don't just copy the words, copy the energy. This is called shadowing, and it's one of the best ways to train your mouth and brain together. When you finish, look at your reflection and smile. You've done something powerful. You've spoken, listened, shadowed, and believed all in one small moment. That's not practice, that's transformation. So keep going, because every time you talk to your mirror, you're not just learning English. You're building the person who will one day speak it beautifully. Chapter 3: The Mirror Becomes My English Friend. The first time it happened, I didn't even notice. I was standing in front of my mirror as usual, just talking. But something felt warmer, calmer, easier. I wasn't just seeing my reflection anymore. I was seeing a friend. The mirror wasn't cold glass now. It was like a person listening, patient and kind, waiting for my words. That's when I realized something powerful. The mirror was no longer my fear. It had become my friend. That day, I started my English talk differently. I smiled before I spoke. I looked at my reflection and said, "Hey, how are you today?" It sounded funny at first, but then I answered, "I'm fine, thank you. A little tired but happy." I laughed, but something about it felt natural. It was the first time English didn't feel like homework. It felt like conversation. That's what I want you to feel too, that English is not something you study, it's something you live. Try this right now. Look into your mirror and ask, "How are you?" Then answer yourself honestly. Say, "I'm okay," or "I'm tired," or "I'm excited." Use real feelings. Don't search for perfect grammar. Just talk. That's how your English becomes alive. When you connect your feelings to your words, your sentences stop being empty. They start carrying your truth. By the 10th day of my mirror practice, I began talking longer without even noticing. I told the mirror about my breakfast, my plans, my dreams, even my worries. I didn't prepare sentences. They just came. That's when I understood what thinking in English really means. It doesn't start in your head. It starts in your emotions. When you speak from how you feel, your brain stops translating. You stop waiting for the right word, because you already feel it inside. Sometimes, I would forget that I was practicing. I would smile at my reflection and say, "You're doing great. That one sentence made my whole day better." English was no longer a subject I studied. It became a part of my identity. The mirror taught me that learning doesn't always need teachers, classrooms, or fear of mistakes. It needs honesty, patience, and love for progress. Let's do a small activity together. Look into your mirror and say 5 sentences about your day. Start with, "Today I feel," or "Today I want." Keep going until you complete 1 full minute. Don't think too much. Don't stop yourself. The goal is not perfection, it's expression. Afterward, smile and say, "Good job. You'll feel proud, I promise." When I started doing this daily, my English began to sound natural. I used small words, but they carried emotion. I wasn't memorizing phrases anymore, I was living them. Every time I spoke, I discovered a new tone in my voice. It wasn't the voice of a student anymore. It was the voice of someone growing stronger. By the end of that week, my mirror sessions became my favorite part of the day. I looked forward to them. It felt like meeting a friend who always understood me, who never corrected me harshly, who just waited quietly for me to express myself. I stopped being shy. I started being honest. And honesty is where confidence begins. When you make your mirror your friend, everything changes. You stop seeing it as glass and start seeing it as a partner in your journey. The mirror doesn't care about your accent, grammar, or mistakes. It cares about your courage. And the more you show up, the more English becomes your natural language, not just a skill, but a part of who you are. Remember this when you talk to your mirror. You are not talking to yourself. You are talking to your future self, the one who speaks English fluently, confidently, and freely. Keep showing up for that person. They are already waiting inside you. Chapter 4: The Day I Made a Mistake and Smiled. I still remember that morning clearly. I was standing in front of my mirror, full of energy and confidence. My words were flowing, my sentences were smooth, and then suddenly, I made a mistake. A small one. A funny one. I said something completely wrong. For a second I froze. My old habit came back, that voice in my head whispering, "You're wrong again." But instead of feeling embarrassed or frustrated, something unexpected happened. I laughed. For the first time in my English journey, I actually smiled at my mistake. That laugh changed everything. It was like opening a window in a dark room. The fear left. The pressure disappeared. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, "It's okay. You're learning." That sentence felt so powerful, because in that moment, I realized that making mistakes is not a sign of weakness. It's proof that you are trying. It's proof that you are alive in your learning. You see, for many learners, mistakes feel like failure. We grow up thinking that if we say something wrong, we should feel ashamed. But the truth is, mistakes are not walls that stop you or them. They are doors that guide you. Every time you make one, you discover where your next lesson lives. And when you smile at your mistakes, you stop being afraid to open that door. Let's try something right now. Repeat after me. Say this out loud. Mistakes help me grow. Mistakes make me better. Mistakes are my teachers. Now say it again while looking into your mirror. Feel those words. Let them sink in. The mirror doesn't care about your errors. It only reflects your effort, your courage, and your consistency. That's what matters. That day, after I laughed at my mistake, I continued speaking. I corrected myself gently. I said the same sentence again, slowly, carefully, and with confidence. It felt natural, almost fun. My fear of being wrong began to disappear. I started seeing mistakes as small stepping stones, not heavy blocks. And when I did that, my English became lighter, smoother, and more natural. In the following days, I made many more mistakes. Some were tiny, some were funny, and a few were big. But each one taught me something. I learned new words because of them. I learned how to fix my pronunciation because of them. I learned how to keep talking even when I wasn't sure of every word. That is what real fluency is, not speaking perfectly, but speaking bravely. So, the next time you make a mistake while talking in English, I want you to smile. Yes, smile. It will confuse your fear. It will surprise your mind. And it will remind you that you are human, and humans learn best when they are kind to themselves. Here's a little exercise for you. Stand in front of your mirror and say one English sentence. Then, intentionally say it with a small mistake. Maybe use the wrong tense or mispronounce a word. After that, laugh and correct yourself. This simple activity trains your brain to relax. It teaches you that mistakes are part of the music of learning. They make the melody real. By the end of that week, I was no longer scared of being wrong. I could speak freely. My confidence grew not because I avoided mistakes, but because I accepted them. That's when English became fun. It became my space to explore, to express, and to grow. When you can look at yourself in the mirror, make a mistake, and still smile, you have already won. Because language learning is not about perfection, it's about progress, patience, and practice. So don't hide from your errors, talk through them, laugh through them, learn through them. Remember this: the mirror reflects your courage, not your mistakes. Keep standing there. Keep talking. Keep smiling, because every mistake brings you one step closer to confidence. Chapter 5: My Morning English Ritual. The morning was quiet, the world still half asleep, and I stood in front of my mirror again. But this time, something felt different. My heart wasn't racing anymore. My fear had softened. I was no longer forcing myself to speak. I wanted to. It had become a habit, something I looked forward to every single morning. My mirror had become more than an object. It had become my ritual, my beginning, my silent friend who helped me wake up not just my body, but my English. Every morning, before checking my phone or opening my laptop, I faced my reflection and began talking. I didn't follow a script. I didn't read anything. I simply spoke about my day. I said things like, "Today I will go for a walk," or "I feel sleepy, but I'm ready to learn." At first, these sentences felt small, but soon I realized how powerful they were. Speaking in the morning was like planting seeds. The more I spoke, the stronger my English grew throughout the day. Try this with me. Tomorrow morning, stand in front of your mirror before doing anything else. Look at yourself. Take a deep breath and say 5 short sentences. It could be about anything: your mood, your plans, your dreams, even your breakfast. Keep it simple. The goal is not to sound perfect. The goal is to make your English voice the first voice you hear every morning. That's how confidence begins. As the days passed, I noticed something magical. When I spoke English early in the day, I started thinking in English for the rest of it. My thoughts, my small talks, even my quiet moments, they all carried the rhythm of English. It felt like my brain had a new language of energy. It wasn't about remembering words anymore. It was about living them. Some mornings, I would feel tired or distracted, but the moment I looked into the mirror, something inside me shifted. I would say, "Good morning, let's make today a good one." Those simple words gave me focus. My mirror talks became my motivation. I didn't need anyone to remind me to practice. My own reflection became my coach. There's something powerful about hearing your own voice at the start of the day. It tells your brain, "I am learning, I am improving, I am capable." Even on the hardest mornings, those sentences brought me back to belief. That's why I call it my morning English ritual. It wasn't just practice, it was connection. It was the moment I reminded myself that progress begins with presence. You can make your own ritual too. You don't need long lessons or complicated grammar books. All you need is your mirror, your voice, and your will. Speak for 1 minute, then make it 2, then 5. If you do this for a week, your mouth will feel lighter. If you do it for a month, your confidence will feel stronger. One day, you'll realize you're not practicing English anymore. You're living it. Some people start their mornings with coffee. I start mine with English. It wakes my mind, opens my heart, and sets my tone for the day. When I say something positive in the mirror, I carry that feeling everywhere I go. And slowly, English stops being just a language. It becomes your morning light. So tomorrow morning, Before the world distracts you, look at your reflection. Say something kind, something brave, something honest. Speak in English, even if it's just a few words. The day will listen, the mirror will listen, and you will start to believe that your English belongs to you. Your confidence begins in the quiet of the morning. It begins when you decide to use your voice before anyone else does. That's where fluency truly starts, in your reflection, in your routine, and in your belief. Chapter 6: When English Became My Emotion. That morning, something extraordinary happened. I was speaking in front of my mirror like always, but this time, I wasn't thinking about grammar or pronunciation. I wasn't even thinking in English anymore. I was feeling it. The words were not just words now, they were emotions. My English was no longer a subject I was studying. It had become a language my heart understood. I remember looking at myself and saying softly, "I'm proud of you." For a moment, I felt my eyes warm with emotion. It wasn't about fluency or perfection anymore. It was about truth. Every sentence I spoke carried a part of my story, my fear, my hope. That's when I realized the real power of English is not in speaking perfectly, it's in speaking honestly. When English becomes your emotion, it stops being foreign. It becomes your second skin. You don't need to think before you speak. The words simply rise from inside you. You feel them before you say them, and that's the moment you stop translating and start living in English. Try this right now. Look into your mirror and finish these sentences. Today I feel. Right now I need. One thing I'm grateful for is this. Don't worry about the right words, just speak from your heart. Feel every sentence. Let your tone change with your emotion. That's how real communication happens. English is not only sound and structure, it's the rhythm of what you feel inside. After a few weeks of mirror practice, I noticed something beautiful. I started reacting to things in English naturally. When I felt happy, I said, "That's amazing." When I was sad, I whispered, "It's okay." When I succeeded, I told myself, "I did it." Without realizing it, English had moved from my mouth to my heart. It became part of how I expressed myself. There were days when I didn't feel strong. I would stand in front of the mirror and say, "I'm tired today," or "I'm not confident." But even those moments helped me grow. Speaking your emotions aloud teaches you to accept them. It teaches you to listen to yourself, and when you do that in English, your language becomes real, human, alive. That's when I started feeling more comfortable speaking with others too. Because I wasn't pretending anymore. I wasn't thinking of the perfect line. I was just sharing what I felt. And that's what people connect with: honesty, not perfection. When your English comes from your emotions, people feel it. They don't just hear your words, they understand your heart. Now every time I speak English, I remind myself that it's not about sounding native. It's about sounding like me, the real me, the one who dares to speak even when afraid, the one who can laugh at mistakes, the one who speaks with feeling. Because emotion is what turns language into connection. Let's do a quick activity together. Look into your mirror and say one emotional sentence. It can be anything true for you right now. Maybe "I'm proud of how far I've come," or "I believe in my dream." Say it slowly, feel it deeply, then repeat it 3 times. You'll notice your voice start to sound different, stronger, warmer, more alive. That's emotion flowing through English. When I learned to connect emotion with language, everything changed. My pronunciation improved because I was feeling the sounds. My rhythm improved because I was speaking with passion. My confidence grew because my words came from truth. English became my space of honesty. So let your mirror hear not just your voice, but your heart. Speak with joy when you feel joy. Speak with courage when you feel fear. Speak with love when you feel proud. That's how English stops being a subject and becomes your emotion. One day, you'll realize you're not just learning to speak English. You're learning to speak yourself clearly, freely, and beautifully. Chapter 7, 30 Days Later, The New Me. The 30th morning arrived quietly. I stood in front of the same mirror where it all began, but this time, something inside me felt completely different. My reflection didn't look like the same nervous learner from day one. I saw a calm face, a confident smile, and eyes that no longer feared mistakes. I opened my mouth to speak, and my English flowed like it had been waiting inside me all along. That's when I knew I had changed. 30 days ago, I was shy, unsure, and trapped by my own hesitation. Every word felt like a mountain. Every sentence felt like a test. But now, English had become part of my life, part of my rhythm, part of who I am. I didn't just learn to speak English, I learned to speak myself in English. That's the kind of change no book or teacher can give you. It comes from practice, from patience, from talking to your own reflection, until fear turns into friendship. That morning, I began my mirror talk like usual, but I didn't follow any plan. I just spoke freely. I talked about how I felt, what I learned, and how proud I was for not giving up. I said, I remember the first day I was scared to even say hello. Now, I can speak with confidence. I looked at my reflection and smiled, because that was not just English practice anymore. It was transformation. I want you to imagine this moment for yourself. Imagine standing in front of your mirror 30 days from now, speaking with freedom, without fear, without overthinking. You will look into your eyes and realize that confidence doesn't arrive overnight. It grows each time you show up, each time you practice, each time you refuse to quit. The mirror taught me lessons no classroom ever could. It taught me to listen to my voice. It taught me to accept mistakes as my teachers. It taught me to express emotions, not just words. And most of all, it taught me that fluency begins with self-trust. You don't need to be perfect to speak beautifully. You just need to be brave enough to begin. Let's try something together for your own 30-day challenge. From tomorrow, start your mornings with 1 minute of mirror talk. Look at yourself and say something simple. I can speak English. I'm improving every day. I'm not afraid anymore. Repeat it until your voice feels natural. You'll see the difference within days. You'll notice that your tongue moves easier, your words come faster, your thoughts flow clearer, and one morning, you'll realize you're not thinking in your native language anymore. You're thinking in English. By the end of my 30 days, English had stopped being something I practiced. It became something I lived. I caught myself talking to myself in English, while cooking, walking, and thinking. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present. The mirror had given me what I always wanted: confidence, comfort, and connection with the language. And maybe the most beautiful part, my reflection had become my best supporter. Every time I doubted myself, that reflection reminded me of how far I'd come. The mirror never laughed at my mistakes. It listened, it reflected, it helped me grow. Now, it's your turn. Talk to your mirror, make it your English partner, give yourself permission to sound imperfect. Because inside that imperfection is your real voice, your real power, your real growth. One day, you'll thank yourself for starting this journey, just like I did. Before you go, I want to leave you with this thought. Fluency is not a destination. It's a feeling the moment you stop waiting for permission to speak and start trusting your own voice. If this story inspired you, I invite you to begin your own mirror challenge today. Talk to yourself for 30 days and watch how your English, your confidence, and your life start to change. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs the same courage you found today. Tell me in the comments what your mirror said back to you after your first talk. I'll be waiting to read your story. Now your journey begins. Look into your mirror, take a deep breath, and speak. Your English is already waiting for you.